Welcome to Informed Entrepreneur Magazine. My name is Mike Baumstar, and today I'm interviewing Omar Abdelrahim with A to Z Enterprises. Welcome, Omar. We're going to be looking at Omar's business and try to get some insight as to successes, tough things he's been through in having his own business. So let's just start out by asking this. What's your background? Where are you from? How did you get to this place you're at now?
I grew up in New York City, so I'm a city boy.
Okay.
And I joined the military.
Okay.
And I was in a technology field. And then after that, I got into corporate America, Fortune 100, and I was actually fixing copiers. And then I saw that the people that were living better were the ones selling them. So I said, okay, I need to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. They wouldn't hire me, so I went to someplace else, a competitor. I took a couple of clients, and then they called me back and said, hey, we want you for that job that we didn't want to give you. So okay. So I came back, and I did that job for 7 years. And then I wanted to diversify, and I went into another industry. I just wanted to see, hey, do I know how to do sales, or do I just know how to sell copiers? So I went into the financial industry, and in the financial industry, then I made 3 times as much money as I did in the technical industry. So I said, okay, well, I'm onto something here. So then after that, the financial industry kind of took a big hit. And
What year would that be?
That was 2007.
Okay.
And that was actually the year multi-billion-dollar companies went out of business.
Yes, I think I remember that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do. So from that, I said I had to do something different. And so I took inventory of what I knew and who I knew. And I said, you know what? Wait a minute. I wonder, can I do this for myself? And so in December of 2007, that's what I did. I started my own company.
Okay.
And I went to the people that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, I'm on my own. I'm a vet. At that time, I wasn't. I hadn't won my claim yet to be a disabled vet.
I see.
And so
What service were you in?
Navy.
Okay.
The Navy.
It's a good service.
Oh yeah, it's the best. And so what was interesting is I went to reach out to the people that I knew. They were my old customers. I just had a good relationship. And they said, yeah, what are you doing? I said, sure, we'd love to buy something from you. What do you have to sell?
Hmm.
And it just dawned on me, I didn't have anything to sell. I said, I have my own company, and I know people. I don't have anything to sell them. So I was trying to figure out, what the heck do I sell these people? So another friend of mine, he was actually a product of a downsize. So he said, hey, Omar, I was working on somebody's projects, and we were almost done with them, but the company let me go. So I said, well, you know what? Can we do them through my company? He was like, yeah. So that's what we did. So we did a contract with the National Guard, and we got a contract, and it was for setting up actually a data center. It was for technology furniture, and so that was like our first contract. And then I said, wait a minute, I never sold furniture. Then I went to my other friends and said, hey, do you guys buy furniture? They're like, yeah, as a matter of fact, we buy that all the time. I'm like, really? Well, I have some. What kind of furniture do you have? I don't know. What do you need? So one thing led to another, and then they started buying furniture from me, right? And then I had some other customers that I had worked with, and I went over there and I said, "You guys buy furniture? No, we have this contract. We have to use it. We can't buy furniture from you unless it's like one chair. It's not worth your time." All right. But they had a lot of money. They had more money than the other people that were buying. They had a lot more money. Billions, tens of billions.
So what else do you need?
Exactly.
Type thing?
Exactly. So I said, so what is it that you guys do? Well, Omar, we do medical research here. That's what we do, scientific medical research. I said, well, I'm not a doctor. They said, well, it's this, then one thing led to another, and I said, so what is it that you guys struggle with? What's tough for you guys? They're like, man, buying this equipment. I'm like, well, why? Because the companies that are making this is state-of-the-art equipment and technology that hasn't been commercially proven yet, and the government's not allowed to buy it directly. So I said, okay, all right, so what does that mean? He said, well, if the large companies are not allowed to buy that from them straight, but if we buy from like a small business, then it counts as like a new technology. And it's kind of like we're experimenting. And I said, well, that's interesting. So what does that mean? Then I started investigating, and I found out that they like to do the government, the way they buy is they want to buy through like these small disadvantaged companies. So I asked them, well, what kind of small disadvantaged company helps you the most? So they told me. So I literally that day went through the database, and I made 100 phone calls literally that day, talked to 3 people, got 1 appointment, made a relationship with them, went back 3 days later, and then we actually secured $20 million worth of contracts.
Right.
That was in 2009. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was for medical scientific research equipment.
Outstanding. Now, did you have an entrepreneurial background in your family where the idea of having your own small business was sort of born from that, or just completely come spontaneously from you?
Actually, I tell you, I always had something going on the side. I mean, even in the Navy, I was trying to do something on the side. When I got out of the Navy in '92, there was really nothing there, so I actually became an amateur billiard player, and I was on a tour, and I played billiards for a living for 2 years.
Is that right?
So it was actually it was better living than what I was making in the Navy.
Wow.
I mean, there were some times where it was tough, don't get me wrong.
So you were hustling sailors, essentially?
No, sailors didn't have enough money.
Okay.
I was hustling business owners.
I see. Okay.
So that was the focus.
Okay.
So then, you finally realize, hey, wait a minute, these guys that are business owners, they have all the money. Where's this coming from? Once again, I was like, so I was always, even at Canon, over there, the salespeople are, you're making decent money, you're making good money, but I always had something going on the side. Always had something. So it was kind of like always, what is it like to have your own thing? And my dad told me, my dad migrated here in 1970, and it was very difficult for someone not from here.
Where did your dad come from?
Egypt.
Okay.
So he's very highly educated. He had a master's degree. He was an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very difficult to move up here, right? So he said, "Man, all these people that are making it, they have their own businesses." So even my
You kept
dad
hearing that.
Yeah. So it just kind of rung home with me, and I just kind of sit there. And to be honest with you, I just didn't have the guts. I did it on the side. It was okay to do it on the side and make an extra $5,000 a year or something, but I just didn't have the guts. In 2007, when the industry went flat, the industry that I was in, and I was interviewing, and I had job opportunities, job offers, $100,000, $150,000 a year. My problem was, at the time, I was averaging over $300,000 a year. So the lifestyle, that didn't even cover my expenses.
Right.
So I didn't take those jobs. So I said, I need more money.
And you went back to business.
And then I went back to business, and then it was kind of interesting. I learned so much about building a business, and so much how not to do it, and I'm still trying to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, but you learn little by little.
Well, tell me this: did you require a bunch of initial funding to get started, or did you just kind of piece your way into it and survived as you grew?
That's an interesting question. The reality of it is, I built my business on the cuff, is what we call it.
Okay.
So I had some money, but not much.
Right.
And
so you grew by incremental steps and made it to that step, made it the next step. There was not like a funding source that said,
no,
here's $500,000 to get you started.
No, I didn't have any funding source. To be honest with you, nobody believed in me to do my own business at the time.
Okay.
So I didn't have any money.
What would you say was 1 or 2 extremely difficult things developing your own business? What are 2 hard things you experienced?
Wow, I would say there was hundreds of hard things. I think the hardest thing is to have an identity and have a goal, and and they say plan your work and work your plan, and if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So they say these things, and I did kind of build a plan, because that's what we did in corporate America, but it just didn't work the same. And it's interesting, someone I was just talking to just recently, Art, he had mentioned that in corporate America you have structure, there's infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So when you're going out there and you're building business, there's a lot of things you don't have to deal with. It's already done. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it.
In the corporate world.
In the corporate world, whether it's the back office support, whether it's the sales support.
But in your own business, it's you or it's not there, right?
Exactly. You're everything.
Right.
You're absolutely everything.
And a lot of times we don't build structure, and we wind up struggling constantly. So structure, very important.
Exactly, because when you're in corporate America, you weren't a part of that building of the structure. It was already done for you.
Right.
So you don't know how to do it.
Right.
So you have to learn how to do that.
The neat thing is that if you do develop the structure, then you reap the benefits that a corporation's reaping outside of your employee pay. In other words, there are benefits to having the structure. So one or two things. A structure was one. What's another hard point in the top two or three?
Wow. I would say money was a big issue. I mean, there's no question.
Cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow is definitely.
I don't think very many business owners have a problem with cash flow. Do you?
No, not at all.
It's not really a big problem out there,
No.
Let's see. How about a couple of things that you really found benefiting you or enjoyable points as you went through the growth process? Things that you said, this is working and I'm liking this, something like that.
When I first got into sales, I developed friends. So I like to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, if my customers can become my friends, then I'm having fun doing it.
Right.
If I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to do it at a different level.
Right.
So I had a lot of customers who became my friends, and they're still my friends today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the nicest thing about that is that, my goal is how can I make work fun?
Yeah.
Make money. So the only way to do it, at least for me, was to be around people you like. You enjoy being around because then it doesn't feel like work.
Isn't that part of that buy-in process that Art was talking about?
Yes.
Yep.
Very similar.
Getting people
Very
to
similar.
buy in, yeah.
Exactly.
It's also a lot more fun working that way than it is customers being sort of the adversary you're trying to go after. I mean, getting buy-in with customers and employees is really a very important thing. Couple things in closing. What would be something you would say to other people that are in business, wanting to start their own business, or even already in successful business? What's one thing you would say is a key point about having a good, successful, fun business?
Wow, that's a big question, man. That's loaded. It's I'm not sure if there's one thing to point at, but
you can give me two if you want.
Yeah, I knew this. I almost think that you have to enjoy it. I think you have to have an enjoyment in doing it because you're going to be doing it for a while and you're going to be doing it for a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's important that you have an identity. It's the planning. I think is very critical. You need to know where you're going. You need to understand how you're going to get there. I think at least I struggled with who I was and what is it that I'm trying to, what is it that I'm doing. And I think Art touched on part of this in the beginning is be specific, chart your course, and what is it that you're doing this for. And so that really for me it was a challenge. And then once I finally got to a point where I understood, I understood who I was and what I was capable of doing, and what I was capable of not doing. It really simplified a lot of things for me.
Great. In closing, would you share in a couple sentences what it is your business actually does? What does your business do? And then the details about your business, contact information, website, or whatever in closing.
Gotcha. I'm really a solutions company. Our company basically focuses on solutions. So what that means is that we identify problems and issues with processes, and then we solve them.
Okay.
So that's what we do. We've been successful with the government because it's a duplicatable process across all of the departments of the government actually. And so that's one. Right now, in the last 2 years, we've been diversifying our company, and we're building more community-oriented solutions, and we're getting more into commercials. I don't want to get too ingrained in government because then if something happens in the government, then I'm out.
Yeah, you want diversification.
Exactly. So right now, that's my plan right now is to diversify the revenue streams in my company. And so now we have a commercial division. We're building some software products that are basically based around community focus.
Okay. And contact information or website?
Yeah. Name of the company is A to Z Services.
Okay.
We're based out of Burke, Virginia.
Okay.
Our website is www.azsllc.com. And my direct phone number is 703-582-1561. And by the way, the A to Z services, everybody kids me about this thing. For 5 years, I hear the jokes. A to Z Omar, man, what kind of name is that? You know, where did you get that from? And so two quick things. One, I had twins, so I named the first one Adam and my daughter Zaina, so it's A to Z. That was one. And then the other thing was A to Z basically meant that when I take over an opportunity, I take it over from A to Z. I don't say call that person or call this. I'm the one who does all the calling. I put all the teams together, and then we propose a total solution, and I manage the contract and the solution.
That would be very attractive to lots of people with problems to have this solution kind of presented by a key person like you. So if you're interested in knowing more about Omar and his company, you've got the contact information. We thank you for joining us today. Omar, it was a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you for joining us on Informed Entrepreneur Magazine.